Hi, I'm Wilson Curry. Welcome back to Wilson's World, where you discover the real value of antiques. Not what you see on television, not what's in the books. But today, this segment, let's talk about Brewania, a word I love saying, but basically it refers to vintage brew items, be it signs, bottles of beer, beer bottles themselves, but Brewania, that's what they call it. And one of the most popular categories are beer trays. They're easy to collect, they're easy to place. And here's a sample of some beer trays that we've collected over the years that hang around here in the museum. This one being a Simon Pure. And these actually are kind of regional trays. When you see these, Buffalo, New York, and that's where the Simon Pure Brewery is from. This one's in great condition. We like that tray a lot. We'd value a tray like this probably at around $75 to $100. Once again, it's easy to collect beer trays because unless it's something super early and really rare, they're really affordable. Here's one that turns up quite a bit. There's different variations of Phoenix beer trays, of course, just as there is all beer items, but this is Pilsner Cream Ale and Moffat's Pale Ale. So this is nice because it's red and yellow and in a reasonably good condition. You'll see there's some corrosion and so on there, a little bit of modeling and so on. In the back it shows scratches, shows it's been used, but it's a real graphic beer tray, and we'd value the Phoenix beer tray probably in that same range as the first one, probably around $50 to $100 range, depending on the condition. Once again, condition's everything. I'm going to show you something about that in a second. That's a nice one. Once again, regional-wise, Buffalo, New York. Here's an Iroquois Indian Head Beer and Ale, brewed in Buffalo, New York. And if you saw our coffee segment, you know the popularity of coffee, but I wonder which is more popular in today's world. Would it be coffee or would it be beer? Be sure to email me your opinion of that so that I can put it in the annals. Iroquois Indian Head Beer and Ale in red, white, and blue. Kind of a nice tray. I would say around $150 to $200. It's a little bit better. This one here, that turns up a little bit more, but once again, that's pretty graphic also. Note the condition of this tray. And that's another nice beer tray. Once again, regional, and in your area of the country, wherever you are, there are going to be beer trays for your breweries, whether you're in Milwaukee or wherever they brew beer. They usually did beer trays, and this one, once again, Iroquois beer, a little bit more common, but the condition is great on this. I'd value this tray at around $75. And I don't know if we did this one or not, and I set it down. Did we already do the red, white, and blue? And well, we already did that, so you already know about that. But here's something else I want to tell you about brewery and collecting vintage advertising, not just brewery. But down here's this box that I discovered a few years ago, and let me just unbury it. So if you go to collect beer trays, now this isn't going to happen very often, I reckon, but if you go to collect beer trays, I got caught in a lamp cord there. This is the way you want to find them if you're lucky enough to do so. Here's basically what, until I found it, was an unopened cardboard box with not just unused new old stock beer trays, but also their beer blotters as well. So here's the 1842 Iroquois beer tray, which is really nice, really good gold and red black combination. But condition is everything in my world and the antique world. Condition is everything. So if you're fortunate like I was one time to find basically an unopened box of beer trays and their inserts, it doesn't get any better than this. And these are all the blotters, and then here's your protective paper, and then layers and layers of beer trays. So that's something we were fortunate enough to find at one time. Perhaps we'll consider selling some of these in the future, or not. It's a crazy place, huh? You never know what's going to happen here. And before I go in the back and show you my favorite piece of Brewania, I'll show you another thing that goes way back. You see this little tin with the bale handle, just a simple tin, and has a lid on it that doesn't come off because it's been on there for so many years. This is what they used to send even their children down to the local bar to have beer filled up at the bar, draft beer, and then bring back home for mother and father to get wasted on. So when you see these, those are kind of cool too, and they're pretty reasonable. Something like this you might find for $10, $15, or $20. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you in the secret room in the back, actually not a secret room, but just another aspect of the museum here, and I'm going to show you my favorite brewery item of all time. To me, This is the Ultimate Brewery Collectible. Now, this is something that I found several years ago hanging on a barn wall, fortunately hanging inside on a barn wall. And when I saw it, I instantly knew what it was. And this is actually a piece of sheet steel, hand-painted Iroquois Brewery logo that's actually off the brewery in Buffalo. Now, it's hard to date, but I would say probably from the 1920s up through perhaps the 1940s. Now, on the brewery, and I haven't really seen very many photos of the old brewery in Buffalo, but I'm assuming that there may have been more than one of these, because this would actually have been one of the ways that Iroquois would have advertised their beer, would be to have this big logo up on the side of their building. And it's just the best. So it's still in great condition, a little bit of paint flaking here and there. But once again, Wilson's World is about values. But when you find something like this where you've never seen anything else like it, and I've had a lot of people make offers to me to buy this, to put it in their brewery collection, but I'm reluctant to sell it at this time because it is regional and we'd like to keep it here in the museum. But it's difficult to put a value on something like this, and that's just simply based on its rarity. So we can only speculate whether it may be worth $1,000 or maybe worth $5,000 to somebody. That's kind of the nature of our business anyway, is things are worth what somebody's willing to pay for it. That being said, Denise, let's go have a beer. And I'll see you on the next episode of Wilson's World.